Before Nigeria was formed, the Niger Delta was home to powerful trading states: Nembe, Bonny, Opobo, Brass. They controlled the palm oil trade, the liquid gold of the 1800s. European merchants, especially the Royal Niger Company, wanted total control of that trade. But the local chiefs of Nembe Kingdom, whose capital was Akassa, refused to give up their freedom or their markets. By 1884, Britain had declared the Oil Rivers Protectorate, later called the Niger Coast Protectorate, tightening control over the region. Then, in 1886, the British Crown granted a royal charter to a private monopoly, the Royal Niger Company, led by Sir George Goldie. This company will rule and tax the local people, not with fairness, but with force. The Nembe people soon found themselves trapped. The Royal Niger Company blocked them from trading freely with European merchants. Only the company's own posts were allowed and prices were kept fairly low. Their canoes were seized, their trade routes cut off, and their economy began to die. But King Koko Mingi XIII, ruler of Nembe, was not a man to bow easily. Educated and strong-willed, he had once cooperated with the British, but now he saw that their trade agreement was a chain. He tried peaceful negotiation. He sent letters, even traveled to meet British officials, but his pleas were ignored. So, he made a decision that would change history. On the morning of January 29th, 1895, King Koko led about 1,000 Nembe warriors in a daring attack on the Royal Niger Company's base at Akassa, near the Brass River. They moved silently through the mangroves in canoes under the cover of darkness. Then, at dawn, boom, they struck. Gunfire echoed across the coast. The company's European officers were caught off guard. Warehouses were burned. Arms and ammunition were seized. Over 16 Europeans were captured and more than 40 others were killed. It was one of the boldest anti-colonial uprisings in pre-colonial Nigeria. But the British Empire never forgot or forgave. Just weeks later, the Royal Navy arrived, heavily armed with gunboats, cannons, and fire. They launched a brutal retaliation. Villages were bombarded. Brass Town was destroyed. Hundreds of Nembe men, women, and children were killed. Those who survived fled into the swamps. The British declared King Koko wanted. He tried to negotiate peace once more, but the British demanded unconditional surrender and even the return of captured Europeans, alive or dead. Broken and betrayed, King Koko vanished into the mangroves and died shortly after. After the Akassa Raid, the British revoked the Royal Niger Company's charter in 1900, transferring all its powers to the British government. Ironically, it was the beginning of colonial Nigeria, but also the end of local independence. The bravery of the Nembe people was buried under the sands of time, and King Koko's name faded from history books. Yet, in truth, Akassa was one of the first acts of organized resistance against colonial exploitation in West Africa. Today, when we talk about independence heroes, we must not forget King Koko of Nembe, the man who dared to fight an empire. History isn't just what's written by the victors, it's also the blood, courage, and sacrifice of those who stood up and were silenced. This was the story of the Akassa Raid of 1895, a forgotten chapter of Nigerian resistance.